I want to give you 5 tips to success. These are my 5 sort of rules of thumb to be successful and to be creative and to innovate in this world and become a really, really distinct individual. Number 1, ignore everyone. Ignore everyone and everything around you. Cut through the noise. And the beauty of the internet was, I say was because things are sort of changing, is that you could connect with people all over the world and hear new and creative ideas. Ideas that went against your gut. Ideas that shook you, that made you move, that made you scared. And that's the beauty of going online and seeing things all around the world. Now that people are connected with their own social circle on Facebook, they're hearing the same crap over and over, and that's not allowing them to really change and become something different. Because in order for something to change, it has to be shattered, broken, and recreated, and re-envisioned, and something new has to come about. So ignore all the noise, ignore the media, ignore the news, ignore some of the crappy friends you have that are saying the same crappy things over and over. It's really important to just sort of see through that, because if you do not ignore everybody, you will become everybody, and you don't want that. You want to be you. You want to be who you are. You want to be someone with a vision and someone who can really create something in this world. Now I'm going to take you to number 2. Go with your gut. Be self-reliable. Stand on your own 2 feet. Go with the feeling that you have inside, regardless of how fearful you are, regardless of how hesitant you are, regardless of how much you doubt yourself. Go with the thing that is giving you that inner feeling. Decide on the thing that has to deal with your inside, your heart, your soul. What's the nudge from inside you? Go with that. What is really logical, if you think about it? Is logic 1 + 1 = 2, or is it really what's in your heart? Going with your gut and being self-reliable, relying on yourself to get the answer. That's really, 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 really key. People keep asking people questions, and that goes back to my first rule of ignoring everyone. Stand on your own 2 feet and see with your own 2 eyes and see the path that's in front of you and create it. It's sort of okay to seek some support, but when you're seeking guidance and seeking support in the hopes that someone can create a path for you that you can take, that's a problem. You need to create the path for yourself. So go with your gut, go with your feeling. Really, people, a lot of times when they're stuck, go online, search, ask friends. Stop, think, pause. Ask yourself your own question. I guarantee you will find the answer if you go with your gut. Number 3, people really spend too much time on planning. You can never really sort of spell out the future. A, B, C, D. It doesn't work like that. You should brainstorm, and you should sort of definitely map out things. Just have a vision and to kind of understand where you want to go. But you really can't map out things to the T. So you need to just get started, take initiative, and just get moving. Momentum is easy. It's the initiative that's hard. It's the startup that's hard. It's the first push. I mean, whenever you're going to start an exercise routine, when you're in week 3, week 4, it's easier than week 1. Week 1 is the hardest. Grade 1 is the hardest. The first day of school is the hardest. And that's fine, and that's okay. But you need to get to that step. You need to take initiative. Number 4 key to success is one of the disasters and a really big sign of someone who is not an innovator, not a creative person, and a sign of failure is to consistently blame other people for your actions. Avoid that. Take responsibility for the steps that you want to take. Avoid blaming someone else, blaming the situation, blaming the scenario, blaming your condition. I'm not necessarily saying blame yourself, but be responsible. If you're going to make a move, take the initiative, and if it fails, and move on. And one of that, like I told you, the sign of failure is that, hey, I'm going to take these steps, but if I fail, hey, I can blame my wife, I can blame my husband, I can blame my spouse, I can blame my children, I can blame my money situation. That's what people want to do. They want to blame. Right? That's not the sign of success. A successful person can't sit around blaming people, because you'll blame yourself to death and you'll just stay stagnant. If you're running, you could sit around thinking about your rotten shoes, how sweaty you are, how hot you are, whether you won't make it to the end. You could sit around blaming the weather conditions. In the end, you still gotta run. In the end, you still gotta make it to the finish line. And sitting around blaming those conditions won't get you any closer to the finish line. Number 5, and my last rule of thumb for success is we want to make people feel bad for the mistakes they've done. We want to punish people for the mistakes they've done. And if you sit around feeling guilty for things that you've done, it's gonna really, really hinder your success. It's gonna put you at a position where you can't move forward because you feel guilty, because you feel like you don't deserve something, because you feel like you should lose something for what you've done. The reality is that nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. You wouldn't be human if you didn't do that. And then feeling guilty for the things that you've done, a couple hours, feel guilty, get over the mistake that you made, and just move on. So the key is just to move on to the next step, because guilt will stop you in your tracks. If you make a mistake, make that mistake and just move on. What you should be thinking is, what do I do next? Now that I made this mistake, what do I do next? And that is a great place to be in.